Good day, everybody. This is Michael Winiger, and as promised, I'm going to do this video live, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about weight loss, we're going to talk about gut health, and we're going to talk about total health in general, right? And I wanted to do this, and I'm going to do this in segments, so you can tell somebody to watch this part, whatever the case might be, right? And so let's start, right? Because we see a lot of people with, whenever anybody has health issues, doesn't matter what that health issue is, just remember that a couple things, the gut and the brain are exactly the same. Well, what does that mean? That basically means the part of the gut that pretty much emulates exactly when they say the gut and the brain, it's the small intestines particularly. And, they communicate very well with each other, right? And when things aren't right, you'll know things aren't right, right? And when we talk a little bit about, and I shoot straight from the hip, so this is just, coming from knowledge here, right? And remember that all disease starts in the gut, okay? You got this, why? Because you aren't digesting properly. You got this, doesn't matter what you have. What's happened is your gut isn't right anymore, and then what's basically happening is the things that you have eaten isn't getting digested, and it's getting leached into your bloodstream, and then some terrible, terrible things are going to happen, from everything from a minor thing all the way to the worst thing that can possibly happen. We all know what that is, and we don't want any part of that, right? So let's start out by educating you on this. The two most important products every person in the world should be taking, right? Every single person in the world, at the age starting at 30 years old, you should start supplementing your life with digestive enzymes, and we have them here, their Daily Digest, right? And with probiotics, right? And our probiotics are entitled the Probiotic Flora. Now, let's talk a little bit about that, all right? By the time you reach the age of 35 to 42 years old, you lose 50% of your digestive capabilities. That basically means that you will no longer digest the way you used to be able to digest foods when you were 10, 12, 14, 15 years old. Watch how this works. The day you were born, the very first day, let's just say day number 1 of your life, and then comes day number 2 of your life, you've already decreased some of your digestive capabilities. So by the time a person reaches the ages of 35 to 42 years old, you will lose 50% of your digestive capabilities. And that basically means that you are no longer digesting the way you used to. Basically meaning from the pancreas and all the other organs in your body that actually drops enzymes when you're eating or trying to digest anything, is no longer doing it the way they used to do it. And if you don't start outsourcing those digestive enzymes that your body can no longer make, you're going to be in some real trouble. And sometimes it happens right away. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But you will end up with something bad, some type of degenerative issue that can take you out until you start supplementing and putting back the enzymes in your body that your body no longer makes. So the most two important things a person in their life can actually take is digestive enzymes and probiotics, and taking those products at the right time. Nobody in the marketplace that I can see is telling anybody the right times to be taking these products or these enzymes and probiotics, right? Well, you have to take both of them right before a meal. That means you're sitting down to eat, whatever it is that you're going to eat, right? Even if you're having a protein shake, you got to digest that protein, right? Before you do anything, what goes into your mouth is the proper amount of enzymes and a probiotic. That's the way you take a probiotic. Any other part of the day, the acid in your gut will destroy that probiotic and it will never get to your lower GI tract where it needs to be. You have to take a probiotic with food. Food will jam that probiotic down lower where it needs to be to create the good flora and then actually come in and help do the work that, well, your stomach isn't, might miss, right? So people often ask me, well, then what's a good thing to eat? What's a good meal? Well, you know what? You have to adjust your enzymes and you have to do that according to what you eat, okay? There's a few things that fall into these categories, out of which is muscle tissue protein or straight flesh protein. And we'll get into that in a second here, because I want to say something about enzymes and probiotics, okay? By the time you're 35 to 42 years old, we just talked about this, you lose 50% of your digestive capabilities. And every 10 years after 40, you will lose another 10% of your digestive capabilities. That is not a good thing. So you need to start taking these. And let me tell you, if all people did, the two most important things in the world a person can take is enzymes and probiotics. And if they did that and started doing that at the age of 30 years old, guess what? You wouldn't have to worry about cholesterol issues. You don't have to worry about crystallization. You don't have to worry about plaque. You can wipe out heart disease. You can wipe out heart attacks, no strokes. That's how important it is. And that's the most important two things you can do to yourself to actually create optimum health, is understanding how these work inside the body, because every function inside the human body is enzymatic activity. And what I try to do is, as complex as we think this shell that we live in, the amazing human organism, I try and make it as simple as possible for you to understand. So hopefully I'm doing that by just giving you the bullet points here, right? So, and we hear about people with food allergy. Think about it. When you're a kid, you don't have all these issues. Most kids don't. 99.999% of human beings don't have issues when they're kids. Then all of a sudden you grow up, I can't eat that, I can't have that, I can't have dairy, I can't have gluten. You know what? All that, but you were able to do things like that when you were a child. Why? Because your body was producing the enzymes. See, if you replace those enzymes that your body doesn't produce anymore, you can have anything you want to eat and it's not going to bother you. Because what's the perfect meal? People ask, well, what is the perfect thing you could possibly eat? Well, the perfect meal is a meal that you can eat, you can then digest and extract all the nutrition out, assimilate into your body as quick as possible, all that nutrition, cellulize, metabolize, and then evacuate, meaning that you will eliminate that meal within 8 to 12 hours. That's the perfect meal. So let's start with what's on your plate. There's two types of proteins that we can eat. We can have muscle tissue protein or straight flesh protein. We're going to learn the differences. Muscle tissue protein is beef, pork, lamb, chicken, turkey. Muscle and tissue because it's an animal. Now, should we be eating that? When you ask people, why are you eating that steak? Why are you having that hamburger? Why are you eating that chicken or that turkey? You know what they tell me all the time? Because of protein. And then I ask them, well, if you think you're eating that piece of meat because you want to get protein, then what animal did that animal eat to get its protein? It didn't. It ate plants. So what are you trying to do? What you're trying to do at that moment is you're trying to extract post-digested protein. There's not much there. And the thing is, they got it from plants. They've already digested it. It's already been used. And you're trying to get something that might be left over. And that's not good. Because I'll tell you why. Because here's a really good example. Take 2 forkfuls of broccoli. Not that you're eating it, you're like with these cheeks puffed out that you got to put so much in your mouth. Just 2 regular forkfuls of broccoli has more protein in it than a 10-ounce steak. So what happens to this muscle tissue protein once it's inside of you? Make believe that you and I are driving down the road, wherever that might be, and all of a sudden I say, hey, guess what? Did you see that on the road? There was a dead dog on the road. And you're telling me, don't worry, Mike. They're going to pick up that dog, the city or the highway department. They're going to pick that dog up. It won't be there tomorrow. And then we drive again the very next day. I'm like, oh my gosh, look, there's that dead dog. And it's starting to look nasty. It's starting to get bloated. It's starting to get huge. It's starting to get rotted. It's gross. There's flies on it. Don't worry, Mike. It won't be there tomorrow. All right? It's not going to be there tomorrow, Mike. Guaranteed. Okay. The third day, we ride and we drive past that dead animal, that dog on the road, and now its eyes are rolled back. It's about ready to explode. There's insects all over it, and it's the grossest thing you've seen in your entire life. Whenever you eat muscle tissue protein, that is pork, lamb, beef, chicken, or turkey, that happens inside your gut for 3 days unless you have put the right amount of digestive enzymes inside of you. You don't want that. You don't want that muscle tissue protein rotting inside of you because it's going to lead to some really horrific problems. That's why every single solitary person on a keto diet ends up with health issues if they do it too long. Okay? So, what are we going to have to do if we're going to eat any muscle tissue protein? You're going to have to take your digestive enzymes. And in this case, I want to show you because these enzymes are small, right? So these enzymes are teeny tiny enzymes, right? They're really small. But what you need to do is you need to take 8 of these enzymes to dissolve or digest muscle tissue protein. So that is your first step. We have to analyze what is on your plate. Now, stretching my back out here. If we're looking at our plate and there's muscle tissue protein on it, you have to have 8 enzymes and 1 probiotic. That's it. All right? Now, if we have now we talked about muscle tissue, let's talk about straight flesh protein. Straight flesh protein is going to be anything from the water. Tuna, fish, scallops, crabs, shrimps, lobsters. If it's coming from the water, that's flesh. That's straight flesh protein. It'll assimilate or absorb very, very quickly into your body, which is good. But in that circumstance, you need to take 4 digestive enzymes. Or if you're having a salad, 4 digestive enzymes. So every time you eat a meal, maybe you can get away with a little snack here and there. You don't have to have one. But if you're going to eat a meal, you either need to take 8 enzymes or 4 enzymes based on what is on your plate. Okay? So think about that. That's the 2 most important things any person in the world can do. Every person needs at one point in your life to start replacing the digestive enzymes because your body's not making it anymore and you're losing your digestive capabilities and you need to replace that. So that's the most important 2 things that you could possibly do is take your enzymes and your probiotics in your mouth and swallow them before you chew any food and allow it to get into your stomach. That will resolve a lot of conditions that people have, all right? Because everything starts with bad digestion. All disease starts in the gut, all of it. And it doesn't matter why you got something, what's going on, autoimmune, it's all because you're not digesting properly and things are leaching into your bloodstream. Now, if you want to lose weight, listen to me, it's really important. If weight loss is a part of your program, then guess what? What I would do is take 3 to 4 enzymes every single night right before bed. No probiotics, just enzymes. Now let me tell you something. I take, and I don't have to lose weight, but I still take about 3 to 4 enzymes every night. Why? Because I'm hoping that everything's digested into my stomach, right? Which it most likely is. But I take the enzymes at night, so what can happen is if there is anything left over into my stomach, it will address it. And if there isn't, these enzymes will leach. They will get into my bloodstream and they will travel throughout my body and destroy any uric acid floating around, any proteins that shouldn't be in my bloodstream floating around, right? And it's actually cleaning me up. And it helps and it assists in weight loss. So, I mean, that is really important. And that's what I do. So hopefully that'll be what you do. So we've already covered the Daily Digest and the probiotic flora. Now, let's talk. Every morning when I start my day, I start with a protein shake, okay? And let's back up because I want to tell you something. Hydration. Hydration is really not being addressed and it's lacking in most people, right? So I don't care what you weigh, what height you are, you have to take your weight, divide that in half, and drink that many ounces of water every single solitary day, okay? That's really extremely important, and especially in weight loss, okay? And what you have to understand too is when you get up, when you wake up in the morning, you've been, 6 to 8 hours without any hydration. So the first thing you could possibly do is get up and try and drink immediately, like 8 to 16 ounces of water right away. I try and get 16 ounces down. Now you've already got 16 ounces down. Now you only have to work on the remainder, and we'll talk about that. But after I'm done, then I start my day off with a protein shake. My shake of choice, naturally, is, and I should say organically, is Asante Organics pH 7.365 shake. So, what does that mean? Well, perfect alkalinity is 7.365. I'm big into alkalizing the body, right? So what we do, and if you go to my Facebook page and go into my albums and into my alkalizing albums, you can see this picture of a scoop of our greens and what it means to have a negative 750 ionic megahertz charge on powders. You can't put them on anything else. They can't survive, they can't exist. So it only can exist in a powdered form. So on all of our products that comes in a powdered form, I infuse a negative 750 ionic megahertz charge. And why? Because then that makes that product isotonic. Well, what does isotonic mean? It basically means that it's absorbed very quickly in the body. How quickly? That if you take a product that is isotonic, as our powders, what happens when you put anything in your mouth and swallow it, it's going to go down your throat, down the esophagus, it's going to take a little left-hand turn, and then it's going to take a right-hand turn, get into the small intestines, work through the stomach, large intestines, out the bowel, and that's basically the simple way of explaining things, right? Well, isotonic means that the product will absorb before it even reaches the large intestines. That's huge. That's quick. That's fast. So I put that charge on all of our products. So in the mornings, I like to start out with a shake, right? And it's been my shake of choice for forever almost. Something that we have developed, and it's packed full of protein, and it is certified organic, all plant therapy. Everything that we do at Asante Organics is plant therapy. All 100% chemical-free, 100% toxic-free, certified organic and wildcrafted ingredients, plants. Plants are life, plants are food, plants are energy, plants are man's first medicine. Plants are everything. And that's what we know, and we totally believe it. And we focus everything at this company around plants. All right? And if you do everything from a plant-based space, meaning the products you use inside your body and on top of your body, you're going to be talking long, healthy, energetic, lots of energy, no inflammation, pain-free life. You can break genetic code. You can go on and on and on and on and live a most fabulously long, beautiful life because you're focused on plants. Just remember, in the good book, our creator, in the first 7 days, created a garden and said, that's where you find life. And that's why we focus on life, plant therapy. So I start my day out with a shake. Inside of my shake, I also put a scoop of the earth greens, okay? When you take the earth greens, we'll talk a little bit about alkalizing, but you're getting 5.5 pounds of live, raw, green, organic, alkaline vegetation, all right? In my shake, I also include a scoop of the Super Reds. Well, Super Reds, let's talk about that. This contains all of your adaptogens, your OPCs. It's just unbelievable. And these are your superfruits. These are your antioxidants. These are your xanthones, your polysaccharides, right? Your phytonutrients, your adaptogens, everything, right? And the greatest thing about this is that it tastes fabulous right off the scoop if you want to take it that way. But I include that into my shake. And on this, I'm also getting 5.5 pounds of live, raw, organic superfruits, alkaline. So now we've covered the shakes, the enzymes, and the probiotics. So now let's talk about alkalizing the body, right? Let's talk about creating an environment of alkalinity, where no disease, no illness, no virus, no sickness, no cancer, not even fat can survive in an alkaline environment. So why not? Now, in order to alkalize the body, you got to do a few things. And if anybody has ever told you that we got a product and it's alkalizing, and if they say that's how you alkalize your body, they're wrong. That's a lie. You have to do certain things targeted for different segments of the body. So when we alkalize, well, let's start out with the greens, right? Greens are for blood. Greens should not taste all that good if you're using them properly, meaning or sourcing them properly, because they're going to have an earthy taste. You're not going to take them off a scoop and eat and take them immediately because you may not enjoy that taste. But it's extremely, extremely high in chlorophyll. There are 5 elements in plants, or 5 different plants that have chlorophyll. Now, 3 of those plants don't hardly have any chlorophyll. So I won't use them because I'm here to produce a superior product that's designed for alkalizing and make sure that you're getting your greens in and targeted for the blood. So we want to create a lot of chlorophyll. Now let's understand something about plants. Plants can be bioidentical. Well, what does that mean? That means it can be biomimetic. Well, what does that mean? It means that it can mimic different things inside the human body to a T. Okay? Exactly. Plants mimic amino acids. You can get amino acids from plants. You can get protein from plants, right? Plants have stem cells. Think about that, right? Plants have peptides that are completely identical to what your body has. But let's talk a little bit about greens. Back during the years of World War I, the United States ran out of blood supply. They ran out of blood supply for their soldiers. And guess what? They had to come up with something or else these people were going to die. And what they did throughout their research was they found that, oh my goodness, chlorophyll and blood have the same chemical makeup. So what did they do? They started giving the soldiers back in World War I chlorophyll and coconut water transfusions. They didn't have any blood for transfusions anymore. So they started doing chlorophyll and coconut water. What they found out was that these people were getting better. They were having more energy, healing quicker, healing better. It was amazing the health of these people by doing something other than transfusing blood because they didn't have any. They were doing chlorophyll and coconut water. So with that being said, that's why in our greens, in the Asante Earth greens, we make sure that this is targeted towards the blood. The blood is 7.365 pH. That's perfect alkalinity. It can only fluctuate the tiniest bit. Any more than that, you wouldn't be living anymore. So we dial in these greens. Again, go to my album, make me a friend on Facebook, and go to my albums, look at the alkalizing albums, and you can see what a good greens product should do with a negative charge on it. Once you take the scoop out, it will stick like that and start jumping at you because it feels you, your energy, your positive energy. That's negative energy. Just like a magnet hitting a refrigerator, a strong magnet. You get it close enough, boom. Can't get it off. That's what you want your alkalizing products to do. You want them to assimilate quick and be perfectly alkalizing for the body. So greens, what's the purpose of greens? For the blood, 3 times a day, okay? So that's why I put it in my shake. I've already gotten 1 a day, and we'll talk a little bit about what I put in here in a little while and why I do it. But this is focused and used because of the blood. 1 scoop of this is equivalent to 5.5 pounds of live, raw, green, alkaline, organic vegetation. You want to take 3 a day, okay? And that's what, 17 pounds of vegetables. Think about that. Nobody eats 5 pounds of vegetables in a day. You can't do it. But now you got 17, and they're alkalizing. And you can use this in your shake, can use it in what I make, and I'll explain what I do here. Just put it in some water, 8 ounces, drink it down. You can use it on food, sprinkle it on. Sprinkle a scoop on your vegetables and anything that you're eating, and it's unbelievable. And you're getting what you're getting. We talked about that. You can take 1 scoop of greens, or we have them in capsules. So 3 capsules of greens equals 1 scoop of greens, right? So you can take them in capsule form, or you can take them in powdered form. I like powdered form because it simulates a little quicker, right? But what I like to do as well is mix them, meaning that at the end of the night, maybe before I go to bed, I'll take 3 of these greens right before bed. That'll be my 3rd serving. That's a good way of doing it too. and it's got to be economically friendly. You have to know what fits into your budget. All right. And we also have sticks. These are great for sampling. They're just one stick, right? I guess I can open these up and show you what the sticks look like. And these contain 1 serving of greens. So 3 capsules is 1 serving, 1 scoop is 1 serving, and 1 scoop of greens is a serving, 3 capsules is a serving, and 1 stick is a serving of greens. These are great to sample out, okay? That, my friends, is your greens, all right? That's for the blood. Now, we have to talk about the internal environment, right? And for the internal environment, we have to take pH drops. And I just left the pH drops up onto the counter. So, guess what? We're going to not pause, but I'm going to tell you about the pH drops, all right? And now I got to do this, right? I'm not going to waste 31 minutes. I guarantee you, I'll be back in less than 10 seconds. There. How is that? Leave it to Mike Winiger to pull that on a video, right? pH drops. This is for the internal environment. This is part of alkalizing. So we got greens for the blood, pH drops for the internal environment. So how do we take the pH drops? This is really important. Everything you drink, it doesn't matter what you're drinking. When I take my shake, I don't count drops. I pull this off and I just go like this, and then I squirt it in, and I do 5 full squirts. That's how I take the pH drops, okay? 5 full squirts, an eyedropper full. Now, this needs to go in every single solitary thing you drink. Even if you're having pH water, you still need to put that in there. This holds a charge, right? These are the strongest pH drops ever made in the world, because the strongest you can make them is 14. I know nobody that makes them at 14. I make them at 14. Why? Because that's the most that's allowed, so I'm going to do it. So you don't want to be dropping this stuff on your clothes because you might get a hole in them or anything like that. Do not take them straight. You just put them in everything that you drink. And if you're drinking anything like coffee or tea or alcohol or anything like that, you have to take a lot more of these pH drops, because what you need to do is you need to take out the acidity of what it is that you're drinking and then create alkalinity so you can help alkalize your body, right? Create an environment where no disease and nothing can exist. Perfect. So, greens for the blood, pH drops for the internal environment. Now, let's talk about omega-3, 6, and 9s. Not omega-3s, not 6s, not 9s. They have to be all together in the proper amount. And then synergistically, what will happen? Now, these are great for the endocrine system. They're great for your communication system. This stuff is great for everything. But you need to take these properly, which is 1 every single meal and 3 times a day. So 3 meals a day, 3 of these. If you don't take 3 meals a day, take 1 of these right before you go to bed, okay? What this does is it makes you slippery. Remember earlier we talked about elimination within 6 to 8 hours? Well, that's a very important thing because it's helping you eliminate, but when you eliminate, it makes it nice and easy. But the thing is with these, what happens is you have to create this slipperiness inside of your body. So you remember, when we're breaking up toxicity, that's gunky, it's gooey, it's gluey, it's sticky. And we don't want to break down some toxicity or have a fat cell move or whatever the case might be. And then it sticks to something else inside the body. So we need to create an environment of, slipperiness, right? So we use, and this is plant-based, right? Omega-3, 6, and 9s. That's the purpose of these. See what we're doing everything has its place. Everything has its purpose. So we're talking about alkalizing. What else do we got here? Vitamin D3. This is extremely, extremely important from an alkalizing approach, all right? Because with vitamin D3, and ours contains K2. The only way you're going to know if you're K2 deficient is test for it. Why spend money for a test? Because K2 is a very good nutrient. So look for vitamin D3 and K2 and the proper amount of vitamin D3 from an alkalizing standpoint is 10,000 IUs a day. No more. 10,000 IUs a day. That's it. All right? That is extremely, extremely important. 10,000 IUs every single day. Now, the purpose of vitamin D3 is this, is that that's the horse, okay? And, okay, let's look at this. So here's vitamin D3 and here's calcium. Now, let's just say you don't have no vitamin D or you're low on vitamin D. And here you can have all the calcium you possibly can have. You're gonna have enough calcium in your body for 2-3 people and it will never ever work. This will just sit there and do nothing because what vitamin D3 is, it's the horse and it comes in and it latches onto the calcium and it takes the calcium to every single part of your body that needs it, where the work needs to be done for this calcium to do what it's supposed to do. And what is it supposed to do from an alkalizing standpoint? It buffers. It buffers. It alkalizes you. So this is the horse. Here's the cart. If you don't have enough vitamin D3 in your system, you will not have, your calcium's not going to do what it's supposed to do and it won't be working at all. So this is extremely, extremely important from an alkalizing standpoint. Great. So now we're almost done with the alkalizing. And that is what you actually, that is what you need to do from an alkalizing standpoint. But I've added something because I know this to be true. Now, inside of this water bottle, let's make believe this water bottle is the human body, right? Well, inside the human body, you have a lot of minerals. But there's 4 extremely important minerals that are your 4 main minerals essential for life. If they weren't there, you wouldn't be alive. Calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Let's say this is the human body, right? That's all the minerals the healthiest human body in the world has. Only 25% full. That's it. And if all of a sudden you're using your minerals for buffering or alkalizing or whatsoever, and now you run down your reserve and you don't have any more minerals left, guess what's going to happen? Your body, it's going to grab minerals from different parts of the body that it needs it from in order for them to actually work properly. Where's that mean? Well, that basically means that once you use up all your minerals throughout the rest of the day, even while you're sleeping, you're going to be pulling calcium from your heart. That's not good. From your teeth, from your bones. That's not good. Well, or you're going to be pulling magnesium from your muscles. Not good. Potassium from your organs. Not good. Sodium from all the cells in your body. Not good. So I'm not the healthiest person in the world, and neither are you. But I'll tell you what, the healthiest human being in the world only has that much. That many essential minerals for life. The 4 that are essential. So here's the thing. Here's my theory. Let's talk a little bit about the cell salts, right? Now, let's talk about cell salts. What are cell salts? Well, it's your vitamin, it's your calcium, it's your magnesium, it's your potassium, it's your sodium. And then we add the vitamin C for the obvious purposes, right? Now, here's my theory. 1 scoop, 2 scoops a day one in the morning, one in the afternoon or evening. And guess what? Now we fill up. We fill up our bodies. If this was a gas tank, now we're that full. So we're going to be using these minerals to do all our work. Everything in the body is enzymatic activity. Blinking your eye, snoring, sleeping, digesting, moving. My finger just moved. Enzymatic activity. Everything in the human body is enzymatic activity. And you're going to need all these elements in order for you to work properly, right? So why not fill up the gas tank, right? Got a nice full gas tank. Use this throughout the day. And then when we're sleeping, if we need it, we're going to get it from here. What our body already has throughout the day. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful element in health. So these cell salts, right? You want 1 scoop twice a day. They also come in the sticks. These are also good for traveling, right? Perfect, perfect. So that is alkalizing, all right? We just talked about the elements of alkalizing, and that is what you do to alkalize, right? Now we have a few other things. We talked about calcium. If you're going to take a calcium supplement, 5 sources of calcium. Did you know that, so I'm telling you, when you talk about calcium, some of the companies out there, it's so cheap. They make such the cheap calcium that what they're doing is they're, chalk that you use on a chalkboard is calcium. That's the majority in supplementation out there. And the problem with that is it doesn't absorb hardly at all. So you're eliminating more than what you're getting. So I developed a calcium supplement, if you want to take it, that does things properly. Gives you the amount of, it assimilates 5 sources of calcium, puts the stuff in there that needs to get in there immediately and assimilates right away, and then it will slowly release the rest of the stuff throughout the day as you may need it, right? And that's that. Now let's talk a little bit about, what do I got left here? Let's talk a little bit about antioxidants, right? There's a lot of things out in the marketplace that people are talking about as far as antioxidants, and some of it is simply not true. What is not true? Glutathione. Oh boy, what is he going to say? Let's talk about glutathione supplementation, because what they're talking about that is they're not giving you the full story. They stop it at a certain point. They say, take this product and you're going to get your glutathione. And you all need these glutathione. It's the strongest antioxidant around in the world. You need it. Take it, take it, take it. Okay? A lot of companies out there, all different ways you can take your glutathione. You can do it a lot of different ways. Let's just put it that way, right? But here's the problem. They didn't finish telling you the truth. And the truth is, if after you're 50, 51 years old, there ain't no way you're going to supplement the glutathione and it's going to work. It doesn't work that way. It won't work that way. You can't force your liver to create the glutathione. And if you think that you're going to take this little glutathione and it's going to do what it needs to do all throughout the day, it's not. Just simply not. Okay? That's where everybody's missing the boat on this stuff, because they're not doing the proper education to find out that, guess what? Your body's not going to make it after 50, 51 years old. So you can't say that it's going to come from the liver anymore, because it can't. Okay? So what happens at that point is you need to get rid of all that glutathione supplementation, because it's not going to work on a person 50 years and older. And you need to start outsourcing your antioxidants. And the thing that I love the most is these organic super reds. They have all your antioxidants. You can take these 3-4 times. You can take the whole thing in a day if you want. And believe you me, you'll get so addicted to them, you'll love them. You probably will sometimes, because I had people tell me, oh my gosh, I almost ate the whole thing. If you remember when you were a child and you would get those pixie sticks, they were these long, little paper thin tubes, and it was like sugary stuff, and you would do that. It would taste great and really good. That's exactly how the Super Reds taste, right? But again, all your super fruits, live, raw, organic, alkaline, super fruits, right? No, we're not putting sugar in this stuff. That's crazy, right? So we have, this is great for all your antioxidants, your heart health, your telomere support, for, like I said, your DNA, right? I can read a little bit of this. Joint health, blood sugar, blood pressure, detoxification, metabolism, immunity. This is important. I'm going to tell you something here in a second. All your antioxidants, your vitamins, your minerals, your phytonutrients, your xanthones or your polysaccharides, your adaptogens, your OPCs, your enzymes, amino acids. Now, this is the greatest thing about this product. Every single product I've ever seen, the most I've ever seen, was a company that was in the direct selling industry, and you would take this product and on an ORAC scale, it measured at, and that's how strong your antioxidants are, 28,000. That's the most in the world I've ever seen measured on the ORAC scale. Well, guess what? A negative 750 megahertz charge on your super reds, and on the ORAC scale, 202,000. That is huge. That's why you want to add this to your supplement routine every single solitary day. Because again, this is when you talk about glutathione, and as it reduces, and you can't force it to do it. You can't infuse it to actually work. And taking it at the time, look, that's only, you might get some at the time you take it, and then the rest's gonna get evacuated, and it doesn't just sit there and go, well, we gotta put some in now, it's about that time. Oh, well, guess what? It's there again, we gotta throw, the whole, let me tell you something. The whole theory of time released is just that. It doesn't exist. You think you can actually create a product that's going to sit inside your gut and float around in the acid in your stomach and somehow preserve itself and not get destroyed by the acid and be completely, extremely potent, right? And you're just going to put that in there. It's just going to float around with a watch on itself and go, well, we need some now. Or, oh, we're feeling it. We got to let some go. It doesn't work like that. That's not life. That ain't how it works. Never will. So let's understand. Reds. We know what the reds are for now because we just discussed them. 1 scoop is equivalent to 5.5 pounds of your superfruits and your antioxidants and all the things we talked about. Or you can buy the super reds in a stick. 1 stick is equivalent to 5.5 pounds. Wow, I love it. I love it, right? And now we're going to talk a little bit about Super Sprout Sterols. Oh, wow, what are those? Well, let's talk about something and make it extremely simple. There is no plants. There's no essential oils. There are no plants, there are no essential oils. There are no superfruits. There is absolutely nothing from the exterior that you're going to be able to take and destroy cancer. Only one thing in the entire world hates cancer and destroys cancer on sight unseen. And that is your own T lymphocytes, your own immune system, the T lymphocytes inside of your immune system. Let's make this really, really, really simple, okay? Let's just say there was, I got it right here. How do you like that? 2 nice round, look at that. 2 nice round little red blood cells. Now imagine 2 of them, that's it. If you took 2 of these nice round red blood cells and you stuck them into a T lymphocyte, that's all you could do. That's all a T lymphocyte will hold in the healthiest person alive. That's it. That's all. Think about that. All right? You're not the healthiest person alive, and neither am I. But in the healthiest person alive, 2 little red blood cells will fit into 1 T lymphocyte. What if you could make a product? What if you could take a product that actually, when you took it, within 3 months of taking that product, it would supersize the strength and the volume of your T lymphocytes. Well, what does that mean? Once you take the Super Sprout sterols, you take these in the morning. How do you take them? 6 a day for 3 months. After that, only 3 times a day. Now, if you took only 6 a day for 3 months, or 3 of them in a day, all right? Let's back up, let's reverse, let's get this right. 6 of these first thing in the morning for 3 months. Or if you took 3 of them first thing in the morning for 3 months, it's gonna take you about 6 months, right? So what you wanna do is a loading dose when you first get these. Take 6 of these things in the morning on an empty stomach, right? So you take this with your water and you don't eat nothing for an hour. An hour. You do nothing for an hour, all right? Once you take your Super Sprout sterols, the minute you get up with your water, nothing for 1 hour. And what happens? It will make your T lymphocytes up to 7 times larger. 7 times larger, 750% more efficient, and 1,325% more active inside the human body. Think about that. How would you like supersized T lymphocytes seeing everything and just destroying everything bad and making everything good inside your body? I want it. I want it bad, and I'm sure you do too. And that's everything about the Super Sprout sterols. These are protected by many, many international patents, okay? This was crossbred, so there's nobody, not one other company in the world that has these Super Sprout sterols. Now, I'm gonna tell you, some of these products were nominated for a Nobel Prize. So I think we know what we're talking about and how we're manufacturing to get the most out of the plants that you're going to be putting inside your body, right? So first thing in the morning, let's supersize those T lymphocytes, the disease and cancer killing cells in our body, and they'll stay there. And that's how you do it. 6 in the morning for 3 months, first thing in the morning, don't do anything for an hour, and then after that, you go down to 3. Or you take 3 and wait about 6 to 9 months for it to happen. I'd rather accelerate the process. All right? Now let's talk a little bit about something else. People always tell me I got allergies. I got hormonal problems in women. All these things, it's all this stuff. And if you went online and you look for this book, it's called Health from the Hive, okay? And if you look for that book, Carlton Wade wrote it. It's out of print. I'm thinking about buying the copyright to that book and making it an audiobook, because that just goes into detail about what these little gems can do, okay? If you take bee pollen by itself, it might do 10 things for the body. If you take bee jelly, it might do 10 things for the body. Take propolis, it'll do 10 things for the body. Take pollen, it'll do 10 things for the body. Now, take these 4 wonderful foods that are made by nature, by your honeybees, in the proper amounts, cross-pollinate it so it works everywhere in the world, and now you have the Bee Natural tabs that will do over 1,000 up to 1,200 functions for the human body. It's absolutely fabulously crazy. So, you got allergies? Take the B tabs, 4 or 5 of them, 3 times a day. Those won't exist in your life. You know any woman whatsoever, any woman going through issues with menopause or premenopause, the hot flashes, this, the that, the irritability, everything that goes on. You know what? Everybody who's got that as a female, take this within 48 hours. A lot of times, 24. Gone. Gone. You don't have those issues anymore. These are absolutely amazing. And what I would tell you to do is go onto our website and research this product, and you will be amazed. Now, one last thing, and that is the pH test strips. You should always get pH test strips. We provide them, Asante Organics, right? And you're going to have your pH numbers, your scales on here. I like to keep myself at 7.4 or higher, right? And you accomplish that by the alkalizing protocol that we told you about, all right? Now, how do we check ourselves properly? So what we do is in the morning, right when you get up, okay, you take off a strip and you pee on it, right? Let's make it real simple. You urinate, you pee on the strip, and then you look at what number you're at. You should be 7.0 or higher. Now remember, 7.365 is perfect alkalinity, so I'd rather be around 7.4 or higher, right? But 7.0 and 7.2 is neutral. So you can be there. It's not that bad, right? And then immediately when you're done checking your urine or your pee's pH, you take a strip off, a new one, stick it in your mouth, and check your saliva. And the day that your first urination or your first pee in the morning, the day that that will match your saliva is when you're in complete harmony. And then you will be in perfect alkalinity. Now, if you're at 7.0 and that's neutral, let's remember 6.8, you're 10 times too acidic. 6.6, you're 100 times too acidic. So it goes in multiples of 10 when you're going back on those numbers. So that's really something important that you want to keep in mind when you're checking your alkalinity. And you only do it in the mornings because throughout the day, the minute you put something in your mouth, the minute something hits your mouth, it doesn't matter even if it's a piece of gum or a breath mint, all of a sudden your mouth starts releasing enzymes to start digesting carbohydrates, right? So you start having enzymatic activity immediately from a digestive point of view, so that would mess up the strip. So you want to do the strip, first thing in the morning. That's really it. You can check yourself throughout the day. It's good, see where you're at. Because you know what? If you're acidic throughout the day, then I'd be upping my things, right? My alkalizing products. Now, let's talk about this, right? What do I keep in here? Because I tend to make an alkalizing, hydrated drink a couple times a day. So in here, I got about that much ice. So I put ice in there, right? Then I take a scoop of greens. I put a scoop of greens in. You could put a scoop of reds if you like, but I put my scoop of greens in, 5.5 pounds. We talked about that. Then I put a scoop of cell salts in, right? Then I take a half a lemon. And what I do is I buy organic lemon juice from the store, and I just throw some in there that I would think would be equivalent to a half of a lemon. Then I put 5 squirts of pH drops in here. And then I got my greens, my cell salts. Okay, 1 scoop of greens, 1 scoop of cell salts, the lemon juice, organic, right? Or half a lemon. And then I shake, and then 5 full squirts of pH drops in here. I shake it up, add more water till it's filled up, and I throw, like, you can throw, here's an option. You can put in about 3 to 4 frozen strawberries, or 3, right? And shake it up. It'll taste just like strawberry lemonade. And it's alkalizing. And it holds its charge. pH drops will hold its charge. When you say, well, Mike, I got a water machine well, first off, water is only one component. You know, hydration and liquid is only one component of alkalizing. You can't alkalize your body with just water. And that's only good when you get it out of that machine, because it won't last. It won't hold a charge. It's all been proven not to. But the pH drops will. So that's it, guys. That's all you need. We don't have to create more things that are Band-Aids. You know, we want to create a body, inside of our body that is alkaline, that is an unbelievable, perfect environment, right? And, you know, it's the whole theory of a fish. When a fish gets sick, right? You got this fish and it's in the tank, and now you're sick, your fish is sick. Guess what you do? You don't inject it with something. You don't try and put some pills in its mouth, right? You don't do these things to a fish, right? What do? You put it in a nice, clean tank. That's pH'd for that fish. And then your fish gets well. So you can't be, shoving them with stuff and, trying to inject them with things, throwing pills in them, taking this, taking that. No, you put them, create a new environment. Your fish will live forever and be healthy and be happy. And that's what we want to do on the inside of us. Create that clean, alkaline, unbelievable, running, existing environment where it's just a beautiful thing. And that's it, guys. That's it. We cause and effect, right? When we talk about, let's talk about inflammation for a second. Pain is inflammation and inflammation is pain. I'm not going to try and create something so we can give you relief for a day. Let's find out what the root cause is of that, and let's get rid of that. And then we don't have to deal with it anymore. And how do we do that? From an alkalizing standpoint. So that's it. I keep a lot of this stuff private because I don't need, we've all talked about why. And that's it. That's how we do it, right? That's it. This is your gift of life. Your gift of life. And you have to do pretty much all of these things in order to keep this operating perfectly for as long as we're all programmed to live 120 years old. I don't care what genetics say. You can break genetic code. You can do all these things. A person can extend their life by 33% just by taking enzymes and probiotics. That's it. At the right time, in the proper amounts. Imagine that. And now you know everything to do to keep your body running just like a luxury sports car, right? Right. And forever. So, y'all have a blessed day. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. Peace and love. I hope this information helped you out. And share it with as many people as you possibly can. And then now you can share it in segments. You can say, well, guess what? Go listen to the first 15 minutes because that's about enzymes and probiotics, right? And it went into detail. So, and they can listen to the whole thing. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, evening, and, give the gift of life and have a blessed day. Peace out. I'll see you guys again on another broadcast. Take care.